Arsenio, it is such a pleasure to interview you today. I mean, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming to do this. This is a very important part of my personal search for demography and the answers to it. Just having your readers in Charlotte be aware is very important to me.
Yes, yes. Everybody loves a comeback, so
Mm-hmm.
you're the comeback kid now.
Right on.
Listen, I want to ask you a lot of different questions.
Okay.
But let me just start with this one. How did you get started in show business originally? I don't think I know that.
Wow. If you give me your email address, I'm going to send you a picture that you're going to want to have. But I started like every other kid, knowing what turned me on. And I think I found myself stimulated. I remember the day. Forget the year or about what age I was. I remember the day. I was a student at Charles Dickens Elementary School, and I was in a play where I had to sing a song about the Rock Island Line. And I remember I was fifth grade, had a train on a string. And in this number, I would walk across the stage, pulling this train, and say, the Rock Island Line is a mighty fine line. The Rock Island Line is the road to ride. And I'm in this musical as a kid. And I remember the applause after I finished the song and my little comedy stuff. But I remember going back to my classroom because the play is over. Everyone files out of the auditorium and goes back to your classroom. And the actors, we change our clothes. I had on a cowboy outfit or a railroad conductor's outfit. I go back to my classroom. And when I walk in, the teacher has staged everyone to applaud. So it's like the stars in our class, you know. From that moment,
Yes.
it was over. It was over. Law school, being a fireman, it was all over from that moment. And I remember to make money. You know how I was a paper boy and I would babysit, but I found a new scam. I was downtown at a magic shop and I was watching this man perform magic and sell tricks. I would go every week and watch him. And one day he said, do you want to be a magician or do you just enjoy watching me? I said, I want to be a magician. And this man began to train me and teach me stuff, a lot of close-up magic. And he died, and his wife took over the magic shop and hired me to be that demonstration guy. I was 12.
Wow.
So I would go there on Saturdays and sell magic tricks for this lady in her magic shop. I was on my way, and it's every rung on the ladder. It's the play, it's the magic, it's the Apprentice, it's you. I've been just climbing to different places and experiencing different things in life through show business. But I knew
Now, who was
after
your
the play
role
that day
model? Who
what I
motivated you?
wanted
Who
to
did
do.
you look up to in show business?
Now,
Who
who was
inspired
your
you
role
the most?
model?
Who
Yeah.
motivated you? Who did you look up to in show business? Who inspired you the most?
Yeah. You know, with a young man like me in Cleveland, it's a combination of a lot of things. There's nothing bigger for a kid at that age than Muhammad Ali. He gave me knowledge about self. He gave me self-esteem. The word greatest, greatness, hard work, all those things I saw him do, the things I saw him become, sacrifice for what you love based on what's important to your soul. I learned those things. And my life was like that. I learned things watching Flip Wilson. What does this mean to me? A black man in prime time. Because I was a Red Fox fan, I would take my mother's albums and listen to Red Fox albums. But I knew Red Fox wasn't on TV. So I learned from Flip. This commercial balance. How to be a Wallenda of comedic taste and balance it all. I watched Cosby as a comedian get into I Spy with Robert Culp. Now here is a black comic who's been tapped to be an action-adventure television star, and that's cool. I know me and Eddie talk about that sometimes, you know. That began a genre, because Cosby wasn't no joke, and he wasn't Tonto to the Lone Ranger. They were working together. That was
Right.
my perception of
Right.
it. And by the way, there are women like Diane Carroll. And I'm saying this to you because no one, it takes all these pieces to
Yeah.
create this beautiful jigsaw puzzle of my childhood. And the bottom line is, you know, I didn't have Barack. Right now, I think it's simple for a child to look and say, the leader of the free world is a black man who looks just like me. So it's a little easier now.
Yeah.
But back then, you reached to different places and got it. I remember Richard Pryor on Ed Sullivan. I remember Ed Sullivan asking Diana Ross to stand up. Diana Ross, from Diana Ross and the Supremes. And she would stand and wave. Later on, when I got my show, I would have people stand and wave when they were, you know, all I was doing was my childhood. Tupac, ladies and gentlemen, stand and wave, Tupac. You know, I mean, because that's
Yeah.
what I grew up on.
Right, right. Well, let's change gears a little bit. Now, your box, your hair, you know, you inspired my hairstyle. I've been wearing it for years
Yeah.
now. Where's your box?
know what?
Are you going to
When you-
is it going to make a comeback?
When you walked in the room, I was like, wow, the only thing I'm coming back without is my hair. And it looks
Yeah.
like she stole it. She got my hair. But it's funny. Jay Leno did a joke on his show about all my different hairstyles. And it's funny. I have the picture. I'm going to give you that, too,
Okay.
before we part. Because it's bizarre. I looked at this and I was like, did I have that many hairstyles? And I got, here's fried, dyed, laid to the side. There's an afro. There's braids. There's a bald head. And, of course, there's a low top fade.
Yep.
There's a flat top fade. Wow. A lot of hairs.
Yeah.
A lot of hairs.
Yep. Well, listen, now you're making me think about Chunky A. Here's one question I want to ask. Now, were you singing that song, or was that the cameo guy? Come on now.
Well, you know what's interesting? I was singing,
Okay.
but he directed the video for me.
Okay.
I put it all together before I took it to him. Played it for him. His name is Larry Blackman.
Yep.
And I said, Larry, listen to this. Yo, love.
Okay.
Makes me say, ow.
Yes.
And he thought it was funny, and he liked it, and he knew it was kind of a parody on what he does. And we found one of those cod pieces for my penis, the red cod piece,
Yes,
and we
yes.
did a video for Chunky A. That was, you know, I love music, but I'm not a musician. And that allowed me to combine comedy and music and play. Just
Yeah.
a fun thing to do.
Yeah, it was really funny. Let's switch over to the movie Coming to America.
Woo!
What are
That was
your
fun.
thoughts? Well, what stuck with you the most on that? I love the African dance scene. I mean, I pulled that out the other day and looked at it. It's still relevant.
You know, my joke with African dance, and I said this like last week to Paula Abdul. I always joke with her about being an African because John Landis tapped Paula Abdul to come choreograph the African dance. And of course, who do you think of when you think about Africa? Paula. You know, and I always joke with her about that. But the bottom line is we were obviously good friends back then. And still good friends, actually.
yeah.
Still buddies. And that stuff holds up. That stuff was beautiful. And she researched it to make sure it was culturally
Yeah.
authentic. And I love watching that movie because it's not one of those movies where you look at now and say, oh, we were horrible, or it doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
God cut us some slack on that one because that movie works.
Yep.
It still
It
works.
still works, and it's funny.
Thank you.
That's-
And you know what was cool? I grew up, we keep talking about me growing up. I grew up in a time when Africa, you could look on the map and see where it was. And you could look on TV, and it was a place where Tarzan was, and it was a place where Jane could find Africans to carry stuff for her. And as far as image, you didn't really know how rich and wonderful the culture of that continent was. And one of the things we wanted to do as adults, Eddie and I and the writers that we brought in, is show Africa a little different than we saw it as a child. So we overdid it.
Yeah.
You know, we would give James Earl Jones a cashmere coat, and by the way, throw a lion on it. You know, and some gold on his neck, and drop roses when he walks.
Right,
you know,
right.
we wanted to really pay homage to a culture that's beauty had long been ignored.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to The Apprentice. How did the winning moment feel?
Wow. Best feeling ever. For obvious reasons, nothing for me was more important than having Donald Trump look at me and say, "You're the man." I won't even go into the details. And I promised Holly Robinson, my little sister, that I was bringing it home for her.
Okay.
And I brought it home for her. Made a lot of money for the Magic Johnson Foundation, which was most important because prior to saying yes to that show, my cousin Sharon in Cleveland, black female, died of AIDS. I say that because you know how, and your readers, I stop here just for a moment because we know the crisis that women of color are still dealing with. Yeah, because we look at Magic. I look at Magic. He's my friend. Magic is healthy, owns the Dodgers, doing good. And it can lull you into a sleep sometimes, and you forget that we're still on a mission because my friend is fine. When my cousin died, it was a wake-up call. And I turned Apprentice down every year because it also meant 2 months in New York away from my son. But at that point, it was time for me to do it, and I was on a mission. And I met a very good friend from this area who I didn't know then, but Clay Aiken is a wonderful man. But that year, God meant for me to have it.
All right. Yes, he did. And congratulations. Yes, thank you. Listen, let's move on to the show. When is the new show going to start? Exactly what's the day, the time, the hour?
Can I look in the camera and say this? I got to look.
Yes.
Excuse me. Hi, Charlotte. Okay. TV 64. 9/9/13. I'll be there. My hair will be here, but I'll be there.
All right, Arsenio. And it's just, I know people want to know a little bit more about the show. I mean, what's going to be different about this show from your last show? Is it going to be chock full of stars?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to be different, though?
Wow. Well, my last show had everything from Michael Jackson cameos to Bill Clinton playing a saxophone all the way to the White House. Great. I was that guy. Now I'm coming back the new guy. Everybody named Jimmy is blowing up. I might change my name to Jimmy Hall, but I got to jump back into this from the bottom because you don't get to come back here. Coming back at the bottom, I'll work my way in, and it's the same guy doing the late night thing the way I do it, but with a different generation. Here's a great example. I'm not different, and what we do when we choose a talk show is we choose the host. Do you want to be with Chelsea tonight, or you want to be with Jimmy tonight? That's pretty much the choice. It's personalities that you choose. It's not really about the show, because Matt Damon's agent's going to put him on everything. What do you do with him? That's what people make a choice on. Back in the day, you would see me sit and interview Alan Thicke for his sitcom, Growing Pains. Now this time around, he has a baby boy who was on the side with the nanny back in those days. His baby boy's name is Robin. Robin Thicke will come and unblur those lines for a new generation. You know, Robin Thicke will come unblur those lines for another generation. And that's exciting for me. But basically, I'll be the same guy with his dad that I will be with him. You know, I put Mariah Carey in front of you the first time you ever saw her. This time around, Mariah will stop by with her young husband, and I'll talk to both of them. Some of the people that I put in the mix are still very relevant right now, so they'll be back. Hopefully, she'll come back, and she'll bring her man. She'll bring new music. Maybe Will Smith, instead of performing Parents Just Don't Understand like he did back in the day, I hear he has some children that are very talented. I'm so excited to drop myself into a new pop and hop world of music, culture, and acting. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
And the dog pound. The dog
Absolutely.
Pound,
you know, whether the dog pound is in your home or whether it's in my studio, I'm sure everybody will be barking.
Okay, all right. And now, real quick, I want to ask a series of quick questions. I want you to not think about them.
Okay, so we're going to do like sentence association.
Yes, well, I want people to know some things about you that typically we don't know. Okay, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite food?
Oh, gosh.
Come on.
I
come
could
on,
go
come on.
forever on a pizza. I could eat
Okay.
pizza forever.
The last time you cried.
The last time I cried was sitting talking to a journalist in Chicago, and she asked me something about fatherhood, and I thought about how much I love my son and how he's introduced me to unconditional love in life. And I began to weep like a small child.
Wonderful. I wish I could have seen that. Best book.
Wow.
Reading.
Yeah,
Still
it's really
something you
it's
do?
real important. You know what? I don't like Kindles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I like paper,
Okay.
but
Okay.
sometimes the classics. Oh gosh, I'm sounding like Sarah Palin now.
Okay,
But
pass. Come on,
why
let's
the
go to
cage
the
why the
next question.
cage bird sing?
Okay. Finally told us something. Your pet peeve.
My pet peeve. Oh gosh, you're starting to stump me now. But you got wait.
Come on, you-
okay,
there's
okay,
gotta be something.
okay. Badass children on a plane. We just flew in.
Okay.
And okay, I won't go any further.
Okay, I think that's it. That's good. That's cool. I think we didn't know that. And just your son, do you want him to follow in your footsteps, show business, or
Oh no.
no?
I
look
hide-
at that. Oh no!
I
Come
had
on!
my
come
son
on.
has not seen my office. He hasn't been to the set yet. There's a part of me that is afraid for him to come this way. And it's interesting because my dad didn't want it for me. My dad saw show business as the thing that killed Jimi Hendrix.
He was a minister, right?
Yeah, he
your
was a
dad?
Baptist preacher. It was also the furthest thing from the Baptist church in his mind. My son, I want him to get an education and do something else because I know how hard this is. This is very hard. It's very, very hard.
But you do know, Arsenio, that kids will do the opposite of what we want. So be prepared.
Okay, so I'm going to tell him, do the opposite. Okay, I'm going to tell him to be a pimp.
No, you need, or tell him, go into show business. That's what I want you to do.
Yes, son, I would like you to be like Neo. Wear a hat and move around vigorously singing to women.
Okay, Arsenio, come on. Well,
I would like you to twerk for a living. Go out and twerk. Sell loose joints in the park.
okay, Arsenio, cut.
I'm sorry.
You didn't do what your father wanted you to do, did
Right,
you?
because my dad looked at me and said, I
Okay.
want you to preach. As a matter of
That's
fact, my
right.
dad used to take me in the pulpit. I'm talking too fast. My dad used to allow me to sit in the pulpit behind him while he preached, and I would sit and watch him. Instead of making me want to preach, it made me want to evoke reaction from crowds of people like he did.
Yeah.
I didn't even see the God part. I didn't see the man that he was. I didn't see the orator that he was. I saw the way he moved people.
Yeah.
You know, how, Dad, do you speak and at the end of the hour, you make fine women jump up and say, yes! Yes, Reverend! I got to get that part. I want to evoke reaction in women with my voice.
Okay, Arsenio. So you did copy your father.
A little bit.
Yeah, a
little bit.
I thank you so much, Arsenio.
Thank you.
You're
You're going to put this on the internet too?
Yes, this is going to be on the
Can I go to your website?
Yes.
And that's how I'll find it?
Yes.
Will you tag me on Facebook?
Yes, I will.
Will you tweet me every week to let me
I
know
don't
you're all
tweet.
right?
I don't tweet. I don't tweet. He can
She
tweet.
don't understand how much 140 characters can mean. She don't get it. She don't get it. And you could have a really cool picture, your thumbnail, your avatar would be so beautiful,
Yeah.
and you could have a special cool name.
Oh, please. I have to run my magazine. I have to run my business. I don't have time to tweet. But I'm going to put a beautiful
No,
picture.
especially as a
Listen,
journalist with a newspaper, you have to tweet.
magazine.
The
please.
Queen's crown has to be your handle.
I'm going to put a nice picture of you, of us, in the magazine in September, so
Oh, can
people
we
are
take
going
it?
to. Yes. Do we want to stand? We're going to take this picture, or
Let's
how
do a
about
couple.
this?
Let's
Yes,
do this one first. We're
Yes,
gonna take a
yes,
bunch of them.
okay,
Let's do this
all
one first.
What is he doing?